In the managerial merry-go-round of the modern day world, Marcelo Gallardo is a rare example of a manager who has achieved success while staying at one club long term. The Argentinian has been at River Plate since 2014, winning 12 trophies during that time. But keeping with the modern times, he's constantly evolved his tactics throughout his time in charge, with his side looking very different today from when he first took on the task in 2014. Ahead of the 2021 season, we analysed Marcelo Gallardo's River Plate in 2019-2020. This tactical analysis is brought to you by myself with some help from the mastermind. We do have the Football Manager tactic as well, so make sure you stay tuned after this ad from OneFootball. I'm proud to announce that the RDF Tactics YouTube channel has teamed up with OneFootball. It's a great footballing app. If you haven't tried it out before, then make sure you do. It's free, so why not? You have nothing to lose, and the link is in the description below. My personal favourite thing about the app is receiving the latest news, transfer rumours, tracking live scores, but also, and of course, getting match stats so I can make videos just like this one. There's a video section as well. It's a pretty cool app where you can watch football highlights, historic moments, and even post or pre-match conferences. I'm currently using the app to receive news on my favourite team, as you have the option to do so. It's a really good app to get your daily football updates and football news. So give it a go. It's completely free, and I promise you, you won't look back. And remember, the link is in the description below. Marcelo Gallardo frequently operates in a 4-4-2 diamond, on paper a 4-1-2-1-2 or 4-1-3-2. The defensive midfielder sits clearly detached from the other midfield men, often drifting towards the back line to pick up the ball, while the attacking midfielder also drifts towards the ball to give it that 4-1-3-2 shape rather than a 4-3-1-2. While Gallardo has experimented with the 3-5-2 and 4-3-3, his other formation of choice is the 4-2-2-2, which follows similar principles of play to the 4-4-2 diamond. Importantly, both formations are particularly useful for pressing because of the natural diamonds that can be created and the inclination towards protecting central areas in defence, even if the shape stretches in attacking phases. Both formations also allow for verticality in attack, aiding in River Plate's quick transition and fluid tiki-taka. Finally, in both formations, width is free to come from the fullbacks, who often push up the pitch and overlap the central midfielders. When looking at the players in Gallardo's current side, there are a few recognisable names, most notably the former Argentina team player Enzo Perez, who had a fantastic career with the likes of Valencia and Benfica. The 35-year-old is integral to the team and makes up a quarter of the impressive midfield unit that led River Plate to second place in the 2019-20 season. The midfield quartet stay relatively consistent regardless of the formation, and together they form a key driving force behind everything that River Plate do. In the previous campaign, Perez operated at the base of the diamond, dictating possession and acting as a key force in defensive transitions. Before his move to Leverkusen, 22-year-old Ezequiel Palacios often played at the top of the diamond, but also frequently played alongside Perez in the 4-2-2-2. Meanwhile, the Uruguayan midfielder De La Cruz played to their left, with Iñaki Fernandez to their right. Fernandez was a key chance creator and dribbler in the team before his move to Brazil, while De La Cruz is probably the best goal scorer of the four. The punctuality of the system and Gallardo's trust in his midfielders means that they operate in very similar roles regardless of the formation they play. And ahead of the midfield four, River Plate have two capable goal scorers in Mateus Suarez and Rafael Santos Borg. But before examining why Los Millonarios are so effective in attack, we first examine their tiki-taka possession. River Plate are one of the most efficient possession-based sides in South America. While keeping over 57% of the ball in 2019-20, the second highest in the league, they remain very purposeful in completing a whopping 17 shots per game. As a comparison, third place Vélez Sarsfield were the only team to keep more of the ball than River Plate, 0.1% higher, yet only completed 12 shots per game. While Gallardo's team scored the highest number of goals in the league, 41, Vélez scored just 27. Further, with only 78 pass completion rate, River Plate were evidently willing to take risk in their passes and ensure their tiki-taka never became redundant. They often looked to switch play left to right, but it also meant that teams had a very difficult time stopping them when they were in full flow. The one-touch combination, often done at speed, always remained River's top strengths in their attack, simply moving the ball far too quickly for their opposition. With this one-touch mentality, it's easy to see why Barcelona were so interested at one point in making Gallardo the next manager. He would have been an ideal candidate to return Barcelona to their tiki-taka roots. The former national player ultimately decided Argentina was his home and that he would stay at River Plate, but a big European team or national team could still come in for the 45-year-old in the near future. Now, let's move on to their defence. River Plate pressed from the very front of their attack, looking to force their opposition in wider areas. Each formation that River Plate deploy has a clear emphasis on shutting down central channels through narrowness of their players. In specific moments, you might even find the fullbacks inverted during defensive phases, condensing the pitch even more. From the very front of the field, the two strikers will often link up with an attacking midfielder and a near-sided wide player to create a diamond shape. This diamond shape is very difficult to play through, as it means River Plate have a player covering every nearby passing lane. Gallardo's men are also never afraid to be aggressive and make tackles. Mateus Suarez was the only regular starter in the 2019-20 to make less than one tackle per game. Importantly to the team's high press, both Perez and Palacios proved to be incredibly astute tacklers. This meant that even if the opposition unlocked space through the middle, River Plate were often able to snap the lock back in place. Their principles of shuffling into wider areas and a diamond shape and overall aggression remain consistent across all formations. However, how high and aggressive Gallardo's team press does not necessarily. Against weaker teams, they may sit deeper into a mid-block, setting up more of a 4-4-2 shape and increasing their intensity of the press when the opposition progress into wider areas towards or past the halfway line. Regardless of the approach, the space between the lines remains minimal, as River Plate push forward or sit back as a unit. The notion of defence being the first form of attack is certainly true for Gallardo's team. They have the second best defence in the league in 2019-20, conceding just 18 goals in 23 matches. Meanwhile, they scored 41 goals, the highest in the division. So with that, let's talk about their attack. River Plate use a high-paced possession approach in attack. While they look to control the match through quick, short passes, it's always purposeful. A large number of their passes are vertical, and while they commonly work the wider areas, they often do so through one touch and given goals before delivering crosses or cutbacks into the penalty area. But the quickness of their attacks can have some disadvantages. While it looks pretty and intricate when it comes off, sometimes a player will make a pass without properly reading the situation and end up losing the ball. River Plate were caught offside more times per game than any other team last season, a staggering 3.3 times per game. One of the reasons for that is the quickness of their attack and the one-touch mentality that sometimes sees a player make decisions too hastily for their teammates. Similar to Xavi's Al Sadd, as soon as the player makes a pass, they are immediately on the move to receive another. This increases the high-paced energy to their attacks and also the ability for the team to play quickly. After all, bounce passes become slightly pointless when the players are static. In River Plate, Marcelo Gallardo has a team of Energizer bunnies, always on the move whether they are in possession or out. Another predecessor to their quick, efficient attack and play is the creation of triangles. Whenever a player has the ball, those around him will rarely position themselves in the same direct vertical channel. They will instead provide angles on both sides of the player with the ball. Once in this triangular shape, it is also far from static. The players will often interchange within the triangle as they pass and move, creating chaos for the opposition. Meanwhile, although River Plate prefers shorter, quicker passes, they also sometimes go for the long diagonal switches of play. These are often done from one fullback to the opposite wide player, opening up the game and catching the opposition off guard. This variety helps to make River Plate particularly deadly in possession. Condensing the field to try and stop River from their quick interchanges could leave the opposition exposed in the wide areas, while neglecting to condense the field could leave Gallardo's team with all the more room to roam. Marcelo Gallardo has been linked with some of Europe's biggest clubs and the Argentinian national team, but he remains at River Plate, with the dream of winning the league title for the first time in his career in 2021. His tactics resemble a vintage Barcelona team, but one that has adapted to the times to incorporate a more pressing and greater emphasis on quick transitions. For how much longer Gallardo remains at River Plate remains to be seen, but for now, he is establishing a reputation as one of the greatest managers Argentina's top flight has ever seen. So that's the tactical analysis wrapped up. We are now going to go into Football Manager to check the tactic, the results, and also the training schedules. So now let's skip into Football Manager. So welcome back to Football Manager. Now we have the results. We're going to look through the results quickly and then we're going to go through the tactics and look at the training schedules. So you can see in the Liga Professional de Football, I hope I pronounced that right, River Plate ended up winning the league. We played 23, we won 20, only drawing 2 and only losing 1. That one loss came against, well, it's not actually telling me, we can just go to the schedule. So that one loss came against Defensa. But you can see in the league, we did win the league of course. For the team statistics, we ended with 56% of the ball. We scored the second most, not the most, but the second most. We scored 51 goals and we had a pass completion percentage of 91%. In the FIFA Club World Cup, we came up runners up, losing 3-1 to Bayern Munich in the final. In the Recopa Santander Sudamericana, again, I hope I pronounced that right, we also won that. So far, that's 2 trophies. And in the Copa Libertadores, we also managed to win that if we go back. And as you can see in the final, we won 3-2, beating Flamengo in the final. So now we're going to have a look at the tactic and have a look at the 4-1-3-2. So in goal, we are using a sweeper keeper on the attacking duty. For the left back, we have a fullback on the attacking duty. For the right back, he's a wing back on the attacking duty. He's asked to close down more, tackle harder, and also mark tighter. In central defence, we have 1 central defender, 1 ball playing defender. They're both asked to mark tighter as well. In defensive midfield, we have no flashy role here. It's a defensive midfielder on the defend duty. He's got a few instructions such as take more risk, close down more, tackle harder and mark tighter. For the central midfielders, on the left we have a box-to-box midfielder. He's going to move into the channels and close down more, whilst the one on the right, he's going to be asked to stay wider instead and close down more. In the centre, we have advanced playmaker on the attack duty. The reason why I'm asking the right sided box-to-box midfielder to stay wider, on the right is where over 40% of River Plate's attacks have been happening. So on the right we have a wing back on the attacking duty and we have a box-to-box midfielder who's going to stay wider and try and link up with the wing back on the attacking duty. Up top we have a false 9, he's also going to drop back and kind of roam from his position, trying to link up with play, so hopefully on the right this is going to create a nice decent overload. And his strike partner is an advanced forward on the attacking duty. The 2 strikers have no added instructions. For the team mentality, we are using the positive mentality. For the attacking width, we are using fairly wide. For the approach play, we are going to pass into space, focus the play down the left and focus play down the right. For the nice one-touch combinations, but also to try and use our flanks. And we are going to be playing out from the defence. The passing directness is set to shorter with the tempo on extremely high. In the final third, we are going to be whipping our crosses in, and for the creative freedom, we are going to be more expressive. In transition, when the possession has been lost, we are going to counter press, and when the possession has been won, we are going to make our counter movements. When the goalkeeper is in possession, he will distribute it to the centre backs, and he's going to take short kicks. Lastly, for out of possession, we are using a higher defence line, a higher line of engagement. The defensive width is set to narrow, the pressing intensity is set to extremely urgent. We're going to prevent the short goalkeeper distribution also with get stuck in. So that there is the tactic, and we are now going to look at the training schedules. So when we do have one match during the week, this is what it looks like. On the Monday is teamwork, ball distribution, team bonding. Tuesday we're going to play out from the back and do transitional press. Wednesday, match tactics and the match practice. On the Thursday, defending engaged, delivery and attacking shadow play. Friday, attacking movement before Saturday's match. On Sunday is the recovery and match review. When there's 2 matches during the week, on the Monday is all about teamwork, transitional press and match practice. That should actually be teamwork, not match practice, so we're gonna save that. Tuesday, attack and movement before the match on the Wednesday. On the Thursday, recovery and match review. Friday, teamwork, and on Saturday, a match again. Lastly, on Sunday is the recovery and match review. So before we end this video, we are going to go to the squad to check the squad stats. As you can see, Rafael Santos Bor, he's the top goal scorer with 18 goals in 27 appearances. Matias Suarez also scored 15 goals in 24 appearances, which is very good for a false 9. And then after that, we have our central midfielder scoring 8, Julian Alvarez, our backup striker, scoring 7, Enzo Perez also scoring 7. For the assists, Nicolas de la Cruz, he was the most creative player with 10 assists. Gonzalo Montiel, he got 8 assists, with our 2 central midfielders, one on 7 assists and the other on 6. So that there wraps up this video. Thank you guys for watching this analysis and the Football Manager tactic. I hope you enjoy the tactic if you use it as well. My name is RDF. If you are new or you haven't yet and you are enjoying this content, make sure you give this video a like. Then you can subscribe and leave a comment if you have any recommendations or any feedback. I will see you soon. I will speak to you soon. Stay safe.